listening to GCN, the world leader in independent talk radio.
Okay, thought criminal Charlie Skelton, running around in foreign countries, imaginary secret groups running the planet. Now, you can open any major newspaper and read about how they're setting up a bank of the world, will pay our carbon taxes, a world government, a new world order. But if you're for it, Charlie, it exists and you're a member of society and can come down to the Oxford Club and, where you went to school and hang out. But if you say it's bad, you're a dangerous extremist who's mentally ill. So, Charlie, you need to go ahead and make the decision. It's like Karl Rove told the New York Times, they control reality. They're history's actors, and all of us don't count. And he said they would change the reality from week to week, and we would believe the new reality. And for all the yuppies, that's what they do. They like to feel like they're winners, so nothing can be above them. They're members of the elite. Now, they're not. It's like a 3-year-old playing like they're a superhero. They're not really a superhero, but don't tell a 3-year-old that. Don't tell a power-mad yuppie that. So I'll shut up here for the next 5 minutes. Tell us what else happened. So you're there. He's telling you the police aren't following you, even though you've been taken to the police station twice by them. The police stations don't exist now. The planet doesn't exist. What happens next?
Well, my mouth actually falls open. He looks at me and he says, you're sitting there with your mouth open. That's rude. And I say to him, it's rude to lie. And I said to him, I looked around the room, there's 3 of them in there, and I said, including the guy I'm talking to who's very high up in the Department of Government Security. And
hold on, let me back up. He said, hold on a second. He said, so you start over. You did what with your mouth? And he said, do something that's rude?
Well, he said, my mouth fell open with absolute shock at the fact that he'd simply denied the fact that I'd seen this guy that had been following me, realizing he's a policeman. My mouth fell open with shock. He says, you're sitting there with your mouth open, that's rude. And I just looked at him and I said, it's rude to lie to me. And I said, this is the craziest situation I've been in, this is crazy. And he goes, for me, it's not crazy, for you, it's crazy. And I swear to God, it was like being in a horrific dystopian movie, except it was happening to me. And I was just...
it sounds like The Prisoner, when number 6, they had all those phony trials doing the same crazy stuff. But see, all those movies in 1984 and all that are based on real stuff.
Yeah. And, when I was leaving, I realized at that point that was it. The fact I'd seen that guy, I knew now what happened. I was being followed by a quite large number of the state police, and I don't know what that had cost. I don't know what cost they'd thrown at this operation.
Well, you know why? I mean, normally in there, they just make sure the heroin comes in to make sure the school kids get it, and I'm not joking. They mainly run prostitution and drugs in Greece, very corrupt, and they're running the drugs into Europe, and also a lot of sex slavery, a lot of kidnapped kids. Those guys don't do a lot of work. They mainly kidnap children and deal heroin, and I'm serious when I say that. And so, to them it was a big joke. They were there. The big heroin dealers sent them out. That's what Bilderberg does, launder the money. And, big super bosses are in town that their bosses work for. And so to them, it was a big joke to terrorize a British slave who thought he was free. It was a big joke to them. They were just thinking about shipments of kids and things they had to deal with. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I can't put thoughts like that in their heads.
Oh, really? You didn't know they're in child slavery rings? Oh, yeah, the Greeks are, yeah.
Well, I don't know. But what I do know is that they lied to me, and they lied to me persistently and all the way up to the top. And they lied even when they knew that I knew they were lying. It was just one big lie. And when I left, I talked to one of the younger ones that escorted me out of the building at this point, because I thought, well, that's it. I'm not getting any more out of this. I know now what happened. And I was escorted out of the building, and as on the way down in the stairs, I looked at the guy, and I said, listen, you know that when you tell a lie, tell a lie like that, it makes you less of a person. And do you know, to his credit, he looked ashamed, because I just felt at that point like I had nothing else to cling on to except the truth about the situation, the truth that these lies were being told. But
see, Charlie, to them, they have the force, they have the power and the guns, so they say that makes their lie real. Yeah. That's like Austin cops when I was in front of the DynCorp building, and I said, they run giant child kidnapping rings, congressional hearings, and the Austin cops laughed and said, yeah, big deal. I do work in there. So to them, it was like by making it a joke, it didn't exist. Now, I was a real guy telling them something real. But see, they weren't involved in the child kidnapping. But by making a joke about it, you see, they become accomplices. See, it's all real funny till it happens to their kid. or till they're sitting there dying of cancer when they're 45 because they took the shots. Then it won't be funny.
But you know what? What I have to take away from it, though, is a few important things, which is, I was stopped and searched so much, and told to show my papers so much. Like, I mean, it was horrific, the amount of times I was having to just show who I was, give my father's name, how long was I staying there. I've become rabidly anti-ID cards, and by extension microchipping, because that's just game over. When that happens, it's game over. It really is. I can see that now, and I didn't know that before, and I know that now because I've lived in a weird little kind of reality show police state for the last week. And I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. I did, and it was horrific. And I was scared for my safety. I jumped into a random cab at one point and sped to the British Embassy, which happened to be closed. It was a Saturday. Well, you don't want to arrive at the embassy scared out of your life and be told the embassy is closed. That's their words you don't want to hear. Anyway, but these things were happening to me, and Bilderberg was happening at the same time, and no one was there. The press wasn't there, and I was being chased around at Athens metro station, and it was quite crazy and quite surreal. But the surrealist thing of all is that where was the media? Where were the newspapers? And how much did it all cost? And why were there private security companies? Security officers are detaining me, and why was the Greek Navy deployed? And two F-16s, and where was CNN? The whole thing is just this crazy bubble of questions that people...
Because if CNN admits Bilderberg exists, that then legitimizes everything we've done. But instead, by them still denying it exists, that's just discredited them. But they're still in this delusional world where they're going, no, the emperor is wearing the finest clothes. And we're going, no, he's butt naked. And they're like, but we have SWAT teams. And we go, that still won't put food in our bellies. And they're like, but we have SWAT teams. And we go, yeah, but we have the truth. And they're like, but we have bird flu we can scare you with. So I've got callers for Peter in Iraq, many others, with inside reports on the Department of the Army telling veterans they've got to secretly register their guns, even in their own private homes. That is coming up. But finishing up with you, Mr. Skelton from the London Guardian, and we'll have you back up in the future, probably with Jim Tucker later in the week if you can do it for, with both of you, because Jim's just gotten back. We're giving him time to rest and then have him on. Because, this does chart the future of the world. We've proven they really are calling the shots for most of the planet. Bilderberg, and of course, so it's not newsworthy and the media won't touch it because it's so important. How did this end? I mean, how did it go after you left the police station? What happened when you went to the airport? Just briefly, anything else?
Well, do you know what? I had that fear in the pit of my stomach that suddenly, from being stonewalled and being led out, I'd actually suddenly uncovered something. So I was scared again. I was suddenly scared because I'd seen the guy, and then I'd been lied to, and I thought, oh God, I don't know what's going to happen now. I know that sounds crazy, but it doesn't. Oh, I'm saying it again. There you go. So I got as fast as I could to an internet cafe, and I got on the phone to my wife. I dictated what had happened. I sent copy to the Guardian as soon as I could, because when you know something and something's happened, you have to share it instantly, because then the information's out there. So I did what I could to get it. This sounds like an overreaction, but I wasn't overreacting because I'd been chased around Athens and been grappling. You've
been arrested twice, so quit saying that. That's part of their programming. So just quit making excuses for yourself. What else happened?
Well, I sent it off, and I just sat there absolutely shell-shocked, and I came home, and I've just been sitting here like a vegetable. I went, I'm absolutely exhausted by the whole thing, but I'm also determined to go back again next year and to get people to be, to bring their cameras.
Why is the Guardian? Go back next year. Why is the Guardian running a photo of you from your comedian work wearing a clown mask? I mean, I guess the Guardian can only report on this if they put you in a clown mask on the cover. What is that about? With respect,
that's me. I went to the National Museum of Greece, and that's a copy of an ancient theatre mask, and it's my little way of saying that I was involved in a kind of theatre, a theatre of the absurd. So that was my little joke. And I think it is a theatre. I was just shown. I accidentally got a peek behind the curtain, and it is all theatre.
They're kidnapping kids, running drugs right behind the curtain. They're running the whores. They're pushing the Prozac, the Ritalin, the vaccines. They're eugenicists above them, and it's all a theater for all the little cows, all the little slaves to never figure out that right behind the curtain there's a slaughterhouse, a meat grinder going 24/7.